Yep.
But they don't really have it, so how does that work?
And free will isn't dependent upon what other people make you do. Free will is a condition inside of yourself. So, for instance, if a person came up to me and put a gun in my hand and said, "You've got to shoot that person," right? I would just refuse and refuse until they kill me. Now, to me, that's my exercise of free will. Now, to you, it may seem like I'm being forced to do something wrong, but to me, that's not happening at all. I'm not being forced into doing anything. I don't have to do whatever anybody is telling me to do. So every single person in communist China doesn't have to do what their government tells them to do. They're just in so much fear that they all continue to do it. Right? And this is where fear often is what causes us to use our free will or to dampen our free will to such a point that we no longer feel we can make choices. The truth is that fear doesn't need to dominate your life. Right? So that's very important to understand.
These people have been censored since they were young, so they have no idea. So it still doesn't work.
But they still have a choice.
Every single one of them, if they tuned into their soul... So, you know, when we're in the Alpha course, what caused you to go to the course? Like, there's literally 50... Like, how many people sent out flyers? 50,000 people?
Down here about 35,000.
35,000 people were sent flyers. And how many people turned up to the course?
100.
100. Right? Now, who had the choice to come to the... Who were given the choice? 35,000 people were given the choice. Right? And this is what is happening all over the world. Is thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people are being given choices every single moment. But because we're willing to stay in our fear, we don't make the choice. Every one of you could have chosen to stay in your fear. Your fear of spending, what is it, like $800 or whatever to go to a course. Your fear of, you know, what other people are going to think about you when you do it. Your fear of all sorts of things might have dictated a totally different thing to you, and you might not have ever gone to the course, right? But how did the course affect you? Did it change you?
Yeah.
All right. So you made a choice, and you decided at some point to stop making choices based on your fears and to start making different choices. Now, what caused you to do that? Your free will, wasn't it? There's something inside of you that caused you to seek more truth in your life, isn't there? That's why you did that. And every single person on the planet has the opportunity to do that. Right? Now, because of the oppression and all of the other things that have happened, and I'll talk about some of them that have happened over the thousands of years before our time, most people in the earth feel they can't do it because they're in a state of fear. And one thing is, the world needs people who are going to be leaders in no longer disseminating fear, but rather in giving love. And that's why in the end of the Alpha course, you were encouraged to start giving love to others, weren't you? Mm-hmm. Right? And the reason why is because the world needs people who are willing to do that, who are willing to overcome their fears and to get into that space of love and to do those things.
This is just a comment for kind of for both of you, but the Alpha course actually was what I think strengthened my free will enough to come here. I really don't think I would have came and saw you if I hadn't have gotten what I got out of the Alpha course.
Yes, and Peter, like that's happened with lots of people that Peter has led me to having this discussion with. They would never have entered into this transaction without firstly entering into that first transaction. Very much.
But
so.
can I add to that? I actually haven't done the Alpha course, so I'm very excited to be here anyway. It's a free will and it's personal choice and development.
An advanced soul.
Advanced soul.
No, that's good. And I'm not implying you have to have done the Alpha course to be here. What I'm saying,
no, that's not what I meant.
What I'm saying is that it opens you up enough.
Yeah.
And at some point you made that choice. Like all of you today made this choice to listen to this crazy man saying he's Jesus today. Right? You could have all just looked at the CD, and a lot of people do. They watch the first part of the CD when I sit down and say who I am, and then they just turn it off and walk off in a huff. Right? And never want to have anything more to do with me.
That's religious teachings have done that to us, haven't they? If someone's very controlled.
It's often these old injuries. That's exactly right. Yep. The old injuries causes us to make that choice.